welcome back to another episode. I'm with Hank Leber of Stanify. Stanify works with over 500, Fortune 500 companies and a wide range of other businesses globally across CPG, e-commerce, and media. Hank, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks, Jeremy. Appreciate it. Excited to be here.
Yeah, for sure. So when we done a pre-call, you spoke a lot on the Stanify, what it can do for communities, but the backstory of how you came up, your street cred, is also interesting. I think there's something listeners want to get into. Do you mind giving us like a quick overview?
Sure. So Stanify is that overnight success that took 10, 15 years. So my background, I came from the advertising world pretty much a lifetime ago. This was 2007, 8, 9. I went to the Brand Center at VCU in the US, which is a 2-year master's program for advertising, essentially. And I came out of there and went into the ad agency world. That was 2009. And back then, this was like social media 1.0. You know, iPhone had just come out a year before, and social was still just like this new thing and this Twitter thing. Everybody was tweeting, and brands didn't know what to do with it. So I found myself on the agency side working with these global brands, Nationwide Insurance, Sherwin-Williams, Travelocity, Coldwell Banker, big ones in the US, and most of them didn't really have a handle on social at all. And so I was helping them understand how to be relevant on social. Some of them weren't on at all. And, that was interesting to be a young person that knew more than your boss and knew more than the brands about social, because I'd grown up in it, had social in college. But that was social media 1.0. Did some work with Travelocity, put the gnome on chat roulette back when chat roulette was
talking about that.
So that was fun. And that actually wound up getting viral success on Twitter. It became a top trending topic. Everybody saw the gnome on chat roulette. And so that was the thing. And I remember it won like social media strategy of the year in the advertising world. And that was my first year in advertising. And I just couldn't believe how new the environment was for social. So fast forward a bit though, stayed in the agency world, moved over to Los Angeles to work on Lexus on the agency side and help Lexus, come into that digital age. That was 2011 by then. And again, social media was still kind of new for most brands. Instagram was just coming up, I think 2011, 2012. And everything was moving so fast in culture. I was just so excited about brands' opportunity in social. But on the agency side, the brands weren't moving fast enough to match my own excitement.
Yeah, for sure.
I was like, come on, like it's so great. And they're like, no, like, can you put the TV ad on the Twitter? And it's like, no. So
what were they nervous about at the time?
Mostly it was fear of the unknown and
getting out of hand.
And also seeing how nasty social can be when, the masses are out there with their pitchforks coming after you. So like there was a risk there, brand risk, I guess you could call it. But that doesn't mean you don't get to be on social. That's literally just dragging your feet into it, and you'd be a latecomer or an early adopter. And I wanted to be an early adopter in every way. I just thought technology plus culture is where you would see explosions in success. I got one with Travelocity with chat roulette for a minute. But that was just like advertising. It wasn't utility. It wasn't getting something done, like a business. And so I just saw Instagram and, Facebook in the past, and then Uber was coming up and Airbnb and these like great technology plays with culture. And I was so excited about those. I left advertising and jumped out into the startup world, trying to build technology at the intersection of culture. So I've started 4 or 5 companies in the past, 10, 15 years since then. But always thinking about digital social media as a
community.
Community
management.
Sure. And a phenomenon that brands have always sort of struggled with. So there was that social 1.0, 2007, 9, where brands were learning how to be on social. Then right after that, call it 2011, 12, 13, social media 2.0 was there, which was all the brands had come on, most of them begrudgingly. And they said, this is so much work. Can you just like schedule the posts on a calendar so that we don't have to do that every day? And like, can you do some social listening with like keywords and stuff so we can just know what's going on? And right there, that space beget Buffer and Hootsuite, and then Sprout Social and Sprinklr.
MarTech, you call them.
MarTech.
The MarTech stack, right?
Beginning of MarTech. And then Sprout and Sprinklr IPO'd on that opportunity of businesses on social. But then 15 years have gone by since then, and nothing has really changed about technology to help businesses on social. There was a little bit of it in 2015, 16. I started a company called Vytmn, Vytmn. No longer around. Don't even bother looking for it.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
been
All right.
wiped,
Yeah.
been wiped from the internet because we were
Yeah.
automating in social what
Yeah.
you were supposed to be doing as a business. And back then, 2015, 2016, it was like on
Yeah.
Twitter, likes, favorites, follows, retweets, follow,
Yeah.
unfollow, like all the things you're supposed to be doing to grow your
Yeah.
account
Yeah.
organically as a
Yeah.
human.
Yeah.
And
You're doing that.
the APIs would allow you to automate it, and there wasn't
Yeah.
much governance or
Yeah.
policing. And so we were like, okay. And so we automated the heck out of it for
Yeah. It
every
would have worked.
it
Yeah.
worked. And then we would build more accounts that were like your
Yeah.
little secret army behind your brand that
Yes.
were all
Yeah.
talking about you all the time. So we
Yeah.
built bot
So
farms.
you're the man. Like you're the kind of businesses that was in that period where people
Yeah,
got a
and
lot of. No, that's cool though. Like that's something worth talking about, right?
It
Yeah.
did, but it wound up being a problem
Yeah.
across social bot farms that are, affecting
Yes.
political stuff and public
Yeah.
opinion. So it wasn't good, but the platforms started to crack down on that. They started to limit API automations and all of that.
Yeah.
And my company died in there with
Yeah.
our tricks and our
The
levels
bag of tricks. But that's
Yeah,
important because it
yeah.
builds up the history to where you are now because you kind of like already knew the first steps
Yeah.
of what not to do, like where you feel like, okay, cool, well that was effective, but maybe don't do it like this next time if we get a chance.
That's right. I
kind of
knew
thing, yeah.
from social media 1.0 what
Yeah.
brands should be doing with their audiences to engage, whether it's manually at the very start or
Yep.
what could be automated. But that company struggled because and died as it was in automation because the platforms didn't like that kind of automation.
Yeah,
It was
got you.
more trouble than the value, and they killed the tricks on the API. So
Yeah.
changed
Sure.
that company into an agency that was doing a lot of that same work but manually, not automated through the API, and it was growth marketing as a service, a growth marketing
Yeah.
agency. It's called Execute, and
Yeah.
built that up over the next year or so. Got a bunch of clients paying a lot more money monthly than the SaaS product was, and
course.
I didn't really like being an agency at that point. I just didn't want to be in services. I wanted to be in tech plus culture, and we were not. We were an agency. So
Yeah.
I wound up selling the agency to Hawk Media, who it's a great company in LA, and they're really good at that stuff, and they love being an agency. And so I said,
Okay.
"Here,
Yeah.
you do it," and I went back
Yeah.
to building technology. So now, fast forward, it's
Yeah.
10 years since then.
Yeah.
The technology is finally here to
Yes.
allow automations to happen intelligently in the brand's voice in social that has context of what the comment wants. What's the
Previous. Yeah.
What
the
is
history,
the
the
intent?
learnings. Yeah.
And what is someone intending with their comment? And we can use LLM, foundational models to interpret at PhD level intelligence what's going on in this post and all these comments. So now the platforms and the APIs, they really like this. Like we have a great relationship with Meta for Instagram, Facebook, with TikTok, X, YouTube, working on LinkedIn now. We're helping businesses with AI. We're helping businesses engage with their audiences at scale on social media in the comments and DMs. And so now with Stanify, I can tell you, like every business can engage with every customer in exactly the way that customer wants to be engaged with in the brand's voice instantly at scale and for very little money. And so when you combine all those together, it brings social media into an important, a much more important part of your business than it's ever been because it's mostly just been a hassle with very low ROI. And now it's like the one-to-one conduit of communication with every one of your customers in relevant ways. It's like amazing.
It was a box to tick. Well, it probably is for a lot of businesses, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh man, we've got to make sure these comments are getting done. No one wants to do it, but it's part of the business. So going back to that, and now you're,
At the enterprise level, what we found right out of the gate was the bigger the business, the bigger the problems, and the bigger the fear of social media. We've found these multi-billion-dollar brands with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of comments, and they treat social like an obligation, like a liability risk zone. And so they put like the bare minimum staffing on it just to keep it at bay. And we help them to create as much opportunity as possible out of it, which is tremendous to tell the truth here. Like we're finding amazing transformation at the enterprise level because social is now actually relevant and valuable to them.
For sure. So I wanted to also talk about, so going back, so during your Facebook, when you first started on social, like you said, like it was almost like college days. So it was
Yeah.
almost
So
like Zuckerberg kind of created it during the era of you was to right there. That was happening,
there's
right?
actually a bit of a longer story. May not
Yeah.
have enough time on this podcast episode.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
toured in a rock band from most of my 20s. From like after
Oh,
graduating undergrad, I was 21. From
yeah.
21 to 27, I toured
Yeah.
around in a rock band. The reason that matters is in that
Yeah.
time from 2001 to 2007.
Mm.
MySpace came up and changed everything for the music business. You didn't need a website anymore. You just had a MySpace page
Yeah.
with
Right.
your four
Yeah.
songs on it. And
Yeah.
then that was the beginning of the change in the music industry. So that was
Yeah.
social media for me more than Facebook. I
Mm-hmm.
had Facebook in college and I
Mm-hmm.
was using that with friends, but my
Yep.
business being run, the band music
Mm-hmm.
business was being run on MySpace. So yeah, by the
Yep.
time I was 25, 26 years old, I had
Yeah.
6, 7 years worth of social media experience in my personal life and in business, which I think
Yeah.
helped me be really excited about the future of social for bigger
Oh, for
brands.
sure. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Cool. Amazing. So moving on to your current thing now. I know LinkedIn's the hard one, but everything else, it seems like you've kind of like got it under control, and it's the big businesses. I saw Activision, I saw Unilever, and
Yep,
then
yep.
like you talked about your co-founders the other day in the pre-call. I think one of them sold a business to the bigger guys. Is that right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
yeah,
so
yeah,
my
yeah,
co-founder Hasan, he had
yeah,
built a company called Vidpresso.
yeah.
I went through Y Combinator with it in 2014. And
Mm-hmm.
this was back, it's a live streaming software, but for the
Mm-hmm.
web. So like on a
Yep.
Chrome browser, you could have live streaming elements. Today,
Yep.
that doesn't sound like much, but in 2014, the only
Mm-hmm.
way you could have live streaming really cool visual elements was using like Periscope or Meerkat
Yeah.
or these really cool like native
Yeah.
apps. You
Yeah.
couldn't
Yeah.
do it in a web browser. So they did it in a web browser, came out of YC, and wound up working with sports and media companies to help them have all of these really cool live graphics, live data,
Yeah.
live interfaces on their
Yeah.
program in the production room. So they were able to work with the NFL, NBA, NHL, MLS in
Oh
the
wow.
US, all the major sports leagues. And then it was CBS and Fox Sports and ESPN, and then CNN picked it up for news. So most people in the US at least have seen Vidpresso's
Yeah.
software on their TV before. And
Oh,
then
massive. Yeah.
2018, I believe, Meta really wanted to, it was just Facebook and Instagram at the time, they hadn't rebranded to
Mm.
Meta yet. They wanted to get
Mm.
into live streaming and they saw Vidpresso as the ideal software because it's web-based.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook was web-based at the time, not native mobile apps. So they
Mm-hmm.
acquired the company and Hassan went into Meta and became the head of creator and media partnerships for MENA
Massive.
Asia out of the
Yeah.
London office for 4 years.
Yeah.
And in that
Yeah.
time, he saw from the inside of sort of the beast, Facebook, Instagram, big
Yeah.
brands, big content, big audiences, big
Mm-hmm.
campaigns, but very little engagement in social. The same thing I was seeing
For
out
the
in the
same
wild.
reasons. For the same
Yeah,
reasons, probably as well. Yeah. Yeah. No, I'd love to get into the. I think you have some slides as well ready for us to
yep,
talk about the current the project.
yeah, for
I'm so
sure.
glad to be one of the first ones to see it. Because I know you're the enterprise level, but now you're going to the SME level, right?
Yeah,
Small, medium-sized businesses, and more like all the learnings from the upstairs. You're going to be able to help the smaller businesses with this thing. Because I think it is a thing. And while you're loading up the slides, I would say that I don't have clients myself who are having problems with the swearing and abuse and the pitchforks.
hmm,
However, they are running out of time to engage with their communities. Like a lot of my clients in the arts business, you're in music, we do a lot of arts drawings, like
hmm.
memberships. I think this is super helpful for them,
Yeah, yeah, we
right? And
found a
yeah,
couple
so
of things there. I'll show you some of the
yeah,
product here in a
please
minute.
do.
The
Yeah.
three main things that we do for
Mm,
any company that has a social media presence, number one is
mm,
safety,
mm-hmm,
helping remove negative or unwanted content from your feed. Negative
mm,
comments,
yeah,
spams, scams,
mm-hmm,
harassment, whatever. We
yeah,
hide those comments. And when you hide a comment through the API, through the platforms, the angry person doesn't know it was hidden. They
mm-hmm,
still see it in their feed and their friends still see it. So you and your friends can feel good about being all mean, but the general public, your rest of your fans don't see it on your page. And the
mm-hmm,
platforms are okay with that. They want you to control the experience on your page. That's your
mm-hmm,
house that you built. Meta
yeah,
might have the land, the
yeah,
platform, but that's your house. You keep it clean if you
mm-hmm,
want. And then the second thing is engagement. So we draft replies to the comments that are already on your post, and we
mm-hmm.
draft those in your brand's voice. Really good
Yeah,
match to your
yeah. I've
brand's
seen it.
voice.
I've seen
Because,
a demo
yeah.
when you showed them the other
So
day. Yeah,
So number one is safety. Number two is engagement. And these are drafted for your approval. We have autopilot, but most of our customers like to look at the draft and then approve it. So
Definitely.
drafted replies. And then the third is workflows. And we'll get into this in a second. You'll see it. We can detect intent. Is someone looking to purchase? Are they looking to learn more? Are they looking?
I'm looking forward to see that. I didn't see that part in full the other day when we were looking at it. So that's exciting stuff.
Yeah, great. So I'll pull it up. I'll show you a little bit here. Let me share my screen real quick. And I'll go through it pretty quickly. Feel free to stop me if you want to talk about.
I think we're good. I think this is I think it's a really useful product. It's backed by real life experiences, and it's already come down from the mountaintop. So it's not something like you just started out. You know what I mean? Like in the garage and you're peddling it. It works. Yeah, we know how it works.
We're really thrilled about the fact that we've been able to execute at the enterprise level. What we do at enterprise can work for all other size businesses. We just started in the enterprise, which is weird for a startup, but we're just lucky to have found the right thing at the right time to be able to execute at that level. Real quick here, I'll show you a video. This is kind of how we show up in the world when you add AI with social media interactions. It kind of looks like this. Let's have a look. And as I mentioned, that's not everything that we do, but it's a pretty good look at the basics there, the safety, engagement, the workflows. Like I mentioned, co-founder Hasan sold his last company, Vidpresso, to Meta and was head of creative media partnerships for 4 years. I worked with a number of brands, helping them on social in Social 1.0, then created my own agency and sold that to Hawk Media. And then our co-founder, Jareer, in that same 10-year period, Hasan and I were messing around with brands and social. He was studying machine learning and AI for 10 years. So that's a long time.
Before it became very cool.
Yeah, that was actually back when it was just kind of weird. Nobody understood what he already understood. And so he was an engineer at Microsoft and then over to Kayak after that, working directly with the founder, Paul English. And basically, and we have a larger team of engineers now, but in the co-founder level, we agree on this manifesto, Stanifesto, we call it. We believe that social media should be about conversations, not just content. Every comment's an opportunity. So like we mentioned here, social is mostly a one-way conversation for brands, especially bigger ones. The social part is mostly ignored. This is a real stat. 87% of social media comments go unanswered. And that's in general. If you look at just businesses, we found a study last week, it's 97% just with businesses. It's even worse, I know. So it sounds like a high number, but when you think about it, it makes sense. Like we've talked about, comments on social are hard to handle, especially at scale. They always have been. So when you have tens of thousands or even a few hundred, like to take time out of your day to do that with humans responding manually is unreasonable. It's unwieldy, and so it's unlikely to happen, so they don't. And then up until recently, all that was available was bots sending these canned messages. Thank you, we will be in touch. And they didn't speak in the brand's voice. They didn't have any, awareness of the post or the conversation going on, so they didn't bring any value. In fact, being in the conversation, they take away value. But the thing is, there's a lot of power in the comments, a lot. There's value to be harvested, but there's also danger to be avoided. Seems like more and more of that every day, and we exist to help businesses harness the power of the value and protect against the danger. So think of us like your co-pilot, not the Microsoft branded one, co-pilot, but like your best community management team member ever. The big three things: safety at scale, automatically removing unwanted content from your feeds, engagement, responses to the comments and DMs in your brand's voice. These work in any language, and they're contextual to the content. We watch the video post you just posted. We know every frame of the video. So when someone comments on something obscure, we can hang. And we get a real wow factor with our customers here on this, on how good we are at being the brand. When you authenticate your socials with Stanify to get started, we go read everything you've ever written on social. And so we know, like in 12 seconds, we know your brand voice because we trained it up. And then you can also edit any of our drafts, and we learn from your edits. So it's like a team member. You just got to get in there with us and help us help you.
What if it just doesn't have that much? What if a brand is still quite new or still figuring out their voice?
That's great. You actually can you can set that in your settings when you get started with Stanify. You can set it to be really casual or cheeky or professional or whatever, and you can do that. And we have a lot of brands that secretly don't have a brand voice established, and they want to do that. Good question.
Got you.
Third here is workflows. This is the agentic part of our business, actions that we take based on intents that we detect. Is someone looking to purchase? Are they looking for support? Are they looking to file a complaint? And I say looking to because, as you know, on social, it's not so obvious sometimes. People don't go, I would like to purchase this now. That's not what they say. They say, oh, this would be so great. My sister would love this. Or like, 2 more paychecks, that thing's going to be mine. Like those are signals that are very strong that we can detect and send a link in a DM automatically. Hey, how about 10% off for your sister? That kind of stuff. Or if someone's filing a complaint out on your feed, I hate this product. I can't ever find the power button. This sucks. We would hide that comment in the public feed, move it to DM, send them a DM. Hey, saw you're having trouble with the power button. I know it's hard to find. Here, let's help you over here. So we're helping manage where the conversations need to happen in what way. And we can pass any of this over to internal teams for human support or whatever, or we can handle the issues if we know the answers, and you can upload all of that.
Part of the workflow.
Yeah, you can upload all that into your Stanify account. Product lineups, FAQs, legal guidelines, all that. Most important thing here is that every user has full control over all of this. It's not some willy-nilly hallucination machine or whatever. It's a very dialed engagement system. And like I said, you can have autopilot, automatically replying. A lot of media companies do that with us, but most of our customers use human in the loop so that they're approving the drafted replies and keeping that human level creativity and judgment in the mix. We like that a lot. We're doing 99% of the work, not 100%. So
sure, but so when I look at this slide, I think, okay, cool, like it's very transparent, all that, right? But there's also a secret sauce behind it, surely, because otherwise, big companies might just create it themselves or whatever. So like, right. how do you mix it? Like, how do you find the right balance in the situation?
That's a great question. It is way harder to do this excellently at scale than it looks. To understand the nuance of every comment. Is it negative? Why? What to do about it? Is it positive? Why is it positive? What kind of reply? Are they looking for an answer? Are they not? The wizardry is in interpretation, which is not foundational language model stuff. That's our product. And so that's our IP. It's our defensibility is if you just go throw some ChatGPT wrapper on your comments, you're going to get what you pay for, which is not very high quality stuff. So, and then here for safety settings, we have to understand what is strong language and why. And you can have different settings to be mildly sensitive to strong language, where we let some of them through and others not through, right? What is racism? What is bullying and harassment? So it's actually pretty difficult to interpret this on a human level, again, at scale. Here's the part though, sentiment analysis. This is the most important and valuable thing that we do, it turns out. Not just positive, negative, neutral, sort of like tagging of content, but helping each of our customers understand what's driving positivity and what's driving negativity. People like this about your product, they don't like this about the shipping, or this is what's working with your content and why, and here's what's not working. We actually feel like we are more a data and insights company than we are AI and automation, because that's just a means to an end to get to the amazing insights and signals that are in your comments, hiding in plain sight. They're just buried within thousands of comments usually. So what we like to say is there's gold in your comments. It's just gold dust. And we take the time and effort to go turn that into nuggets for you.
You got all the pictures sorted out, man.
Right.
you got all the angles, bro. I love it.
So here, real quick, voice, you mentioned this a second ago when you asked, what if they don't have a brand voice? You can set a custom sort of skew for your brand voice to be more professional, more approachable, casual, cheeky. This, when we start with a brand and they have an established brand voice, you could mess with it if you want to, but most of our customers don't even touch this once we get started because we do a great job. It's there if you want it. It's more like for moral support than anything else.
Sounds good.
Our dashboard shows customers the real-time data, the reporting, of course, of what actions have been taken, what's been hidden, what's been ignored, and then you can undo some of these, unhide things if you want, but this just keeps you informed of what's happening. And then also now we bring in the so what behind the data, some insights, word clouds, top trending topics, and keywords among your audience. And here we found with our customers, they were like, hey, this is great. Can we get more of the so what behind the data? Give us more of the so what. And so now we share an actual insights report monthly with every customer that is the so what behind your data, what's working about your content, what's working about your what are your users and customers asking about, what are they complaining about? And that's been a really helpful thing. Every single customer, every brand in every country gets its own insights report because every country is different. Even if we're working with a Unilever brand across 2-3 different countries, those are all in different languages, different cultures, different audiences. Stanify works on organic posts that you're posting every day, but it also works on ads. And I know you and I talked a little bit about that before. Ads are a really interesting thing. We work on dark ads, which is essentially an ad that has a comment section that's supposed to look like a post. It's a dark post that's got a spend behind it. So here, what we found with our customers, we act as like a protector to your ad spend. We remove the negativity that could happen during an ad campaign. Looks cheap, wouldn't buy it, piece of shit, I'd never buy this. Like that kind of stuff doesn't belong in your experience that you're paying for on the platforms. And the platforms don't mind that you hide and remove that because you're paying for it, so
Yep.
you can control it. So we help with that, and we also answer frequently asked questions that would come during your ad campaign. I don't know, something like, does this ship to Canada? What's your return policy? Does it come in blue? And you can upload all of those FAQs into Stanify, into your Stanify account, and we'll answer them for you instantly in the comments so that the ad performs at its maximum ability in real time. So it's great.
Question
And
for you. Question, real quick question
yeah,
here is that if this works, just say you the way you say it works, it's gonna overtake a lot of it's gonna remove a lot of other peripheral tools. Because there are tools that kind of do that already, the FAQ game, download or whatever, but you're also supposed to kill all of that in one hit.
yeah. We're just trying to, the thing is, tools can be tools and maybe they're useful, and there's some that are good for e-com and CRM and whatever, and analysis. But like, we're trying to be the brain of your business about your consumerism. We know how you talk. We know what people are asking about. We're talking to them. We're listening to them. So we know everything. And so it's like, that's what we want to do. And maybe we can use the tools for you. If there is this really cool CRM tool, maybe we'll build that later. I don't know. We're just trying to find the value. And what we found is the more we can do for you, the better. And so I feel like we're still just at the beginning here with these things.
I feel you.
When you're the brain of your business, maybe we can power your email and your WhatsApp channels too. I don't know. We'll see. Because in DMs, same thing. DMs, we can move a comment into a DM when it's better handled in the private room, but we can also just handle busy DM inboxes. So I'll show you next here some footage of the product. The thing that we love so much about this, and all of our users do, is the product is dead simple to use. It's like Slack level easy. Like here, onboarding, it's like 2 minutes. Log in as a username, password, email password, one click integrate your socials. You can choose your voice style. We already know it. And then everybody starts manual. It's literally 2 minutes to get started, and you're set up and running, like literally live. So if you have a Facebook page for your sunglasses company and someone posts, these are awesome. There's your Stanify universal inbox across all socials. Here's our drafted reply that you can edit or send as is, and it goes out. And so that's it. The user motion is literally click, click, send, click, send, click, send. Safety-wise, there's 12 categories right out of the box for you. Strong language, for example, if you wanted to not reply to those, or actually hide and escalate strong language. My sensitivity is set to high. I really don't want to see the strong language out there. So if somebody puts strong language and you have it set to hide and escalate, you'll see it in your inbox as hidden, escalated, and here's the reasons why. And then that thing is gone from public view. And we catch those within a second or two, usually from the feed. Settings wise, you can turn Stanify on and off on your comments, ads, and DMs. Nobody ever turns it off, but you could if you wanted to. And triggers here, like I said, we detect most of this anyways, but if you wanted to create a custom trigger, like the purchase campaign, anytime anybody says any of these keywords and you detect that, then send this custom response that's got the link with the tracking and all that. So here, I don't know if you've seen on social, people are like, comment course and we'll DM you a course. And
I'll get that a lot.
And then like they ruin the social experience. Here, the keywords are detected and the link goes out. So it's like very simple. In the interest of time, I'll move into, we're live on now, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We've done, 3.5 million comments and DMs through the platforms. We're approved by X and YouTube, going live soon. And we're in process with Snapchat, LinkedIn, and Reddit. All of the platforms really like what we do because we're helping with authentic engagement for businesses. We are not powering personal accounts, trying to fool other humans into thinking that human is talking. There is a problem on social right now with that. A lot of that's in LinkedIn, where people are just putting out AI slop sort of comments just to be commenting. And that is, we're not that company. We're actually the opposite. We're trying to help businesses connect with their audiences in relevant ways. And by way of that, like I told you before, like we've had tremendous, traction at the enterprise level globally. And these are different accounts in different countries. Sometimes a brand would have a particular need for Stanify in just one international market. So you won't see Stanify on all of these brands everywhere on social yet. But we're finding that there's a lot of value in different markets for different reasons across these different industries. CPG or gaming, auto, media, quick service restaurants, pharma. So with Abbott, it's some of their CPG products, not their pharmaceuticals. Anik is a telco, the size of Verizon pretty much overseas. Bayut is a real estate company in the Middle East. So like we've found that it's not the type of business that matters. It's whether your business has an element of social to it, where there's a community that wants to engage with your business more and get information. So we're pretty sure all businesses can use Stanify, but because we've been focused on the enterprise, we haven't done much with mid-market and SMBs yet. I think it's a good time to talk with you because we're open to that.
Yeah, yeah,
And we want to
definitely.
learn more about how different is the need of a small and medium-sized business to enterprise. It's still
Yeah.
humans and social, so we don't think it's that different.
No, I don't think it's that different. As you're talking, and I keep thinking about, oh, this client could use it. Oh, I could tell this to this client. Like I'm gonna show him this video. I'd be like, hey,
Mhm.
look at the demo. Look what Hank's doing, and see if it can help. Because some of them, I guess, are small outfits, but they do get a lot of comments on their product and on their stuff, on their services. So one thing that and maybe we'll end on this as well. The LinkedIn comments. You go, if you're interested, type growth. Then you see like 300 comments is all growth. There's no engagement, right? You hate that shit. I think it's stupid too. But that's the game, I guess, because that comment allows the post to rise up or whatever, right?
It is a signal that there
Yeah,
needs to be a better solution because that's
yeah,
clunky, it's awkward, it's annoying, but people are doing it because they want what? More
yeah.
engagement on their post to get more reach. But
Yes,
why does
exactly
it
right.
have to be this keyword spamming? Like that's the signal that something better needs to
Genuine
be
reach.
done. That's exactly what we're doing. Now
Yeah,
for
so get,
LinkedIn,
yeah,
I'm afraid you're going to see that out there on personal pages for a while still. LinkedIn is trying to cut down on that on the platform level APIs. Remember, I
yep,
had a company
yep,
that automated on
yeah,
platforms,
yeah,
and when they didn't like it, they killed it.
yeah, yeah.
So they'll police a lot of that. But on the brand side, business
Mm,
pages, it's a
mm,
different thing. People want the information, and when the logo is talking and it's
mm,
talking very intelligently, the
mm.
platforms like that. So we're just excited to be doing something that's helping the entire world of social media work better for businesses and their customers.
Yeah, amazing. So if someone wanted to, they watch this, they go, all right, you know what, I'm interested,
Yeah.
right? I want to try it. I'm a little bit scared. I'm try it. Like, what is the offer out there right now? What would you?
Absolutely. So right now, this is a unique
Mm,
time, and I don't know if this
yeah,
is going to age very well as this podcast episode gets older and we get bigger. But right now,
yeah,
we're in a learning phase with mid-market and SMBs. We would encourage anybody who's curious, if you have a community already on your socials, we do
mm,
not make people comment on your posts. We can't
yeah,
grow your own engagement. We manage your existing engagement. So if you have
mm,
a lot of comments when you're running ads, or you
mm.
have comments on your posts, and you
So
just don't have time to
organically,
deal with them,
yeah,
or you have
yeah,
spam and scammers or just mean stuff. We handle all of that. We'd love to learn what the needs are of different kinds of businesses. Reach out on the website. You'll see it stanify.ai.
I link it.
You can book a call with
Yeah,
us. You'll catch one of the senior people or the founders, and you
yeah,
can send an email to hello@stanify.ai, and we'll answer it. We want to learn where the opportunities are because the more we learn about
mm,
what everybody needs, the more we can give everyone what they want. And
yep,
by the way, pricing, we're in price discovery for a lot of these newer types of businesses that we don't work with. So it kind of depends on your needs.
mm.
Let's discover it together. We're happy to talk about it on a quick discovery call.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. I think this is a much needed tool. I really do. I don't usually have people coming out do presentations, but this one's special because I think it's community comments. I think it's very different to what's currently out on the market. So no, more than happy to shut my mouth and just listen to it. That's great, man. I'm gonna put all those links in the show notes and all that, and then hopefully we get some traction on this thing, man. See how we
Yeah, I
go.
appreciate the time today. Thanks for asking good questions. And if anybody here that sees this has other questions that aren't answered, hit us up. We're
Okay,
listening.
yep, hit him up. All right, thanks, Hank. I love it.
Cheers. Thanks,
Cheers,
Jeremy.
guys. What's up, Jeremy Yang, the online ads guy here, owner of Digital Growth Marketing. If you found whatever you're watching helpful, you found it interesting, like, subscribe, comment, suggest other topics you think we should cover here. We've aimed to release weekly episodes, helping SMEs with marketing, advertising, talking to professionals about growth, processes, all that good stuff. All right, see you on the next one.